Sports Intel with Ryan Walsh is brought to you by
Mary Freebed, Collectible Insurance Services, West Michigan Eye Care Associates, Eric Hall Aesthetic and General Dentistry, Calder Financial, Grand Management Group, Encore Business Group, and Rydan Investments.
Sports Intel with Ryan Walsh.
Stay informed and stay vigilant. And I want to thank Mary Freebed. They had the Hartford Nationals event here that was pretty successful, it sounds like. Want to try to do that next year and attend that. I was sick, so I couldn't volunteer, but sounds like it was a good event. We got Collectible Insurance Services if you ever need insurance for your memorabilia, which we'll be talking about in a minute here. West Michigan Eye Care Associates. Dr. Kenyon may wander in here at some point in time. I'd like to have him on, but we'll see about that. Eric Hall Aesthetic and General Dentistry, great dentist, great family. They'll be back here. We're planning on them for the season for our Counter Intel segment. We'll have Tate, who's got to be 9 by the time we're on. So he's big time now. Maybe he's working for another radio station by now. But Calder Financial, finance advice, anything you need there. Good, especially for the current events and times. Grand Management Group, get your taxes and business accounting there. Rydan Investments, and then Encore Business Group. And I made them last because we have a representative from Encore Business Group, technically 2, because I've partnered with Encore Business Group and brought a different element relating to sports memorabilia, which is part of the reason we're having them on. But we have my business partner and cousin, Josh Crumback, here live in studio. So welcome to the show, Josh.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I want to start out, we're going to talk about some sports memorabilia. We're going to talk about a lot of other stuff. Want to mention who else we've got on the show here, because we did have one change that was pretty late in the day. We've got Ryan Randall at 7:30 of the Grind Line podcast talking some Red Wings with us. We've got Coach Dave Dalton from the Piston Fanatic podcast, who will be coming on at 8 instead of Matt Issa. He had a conflict, so he couldn't come on. He'll be on in a future week, hopefully, and talk the business side of sports there. And then we've got Jerry McKinnon of the Tigers Minor League Report, talking some baseball draft. But yeah, we want to start here with Josh. We want to talk some memorabilia. We want to talk about Encore, but we got to start in the first place here, and we actually do this in our meeting at Encore. So what's your favorite junk food, since it's National Junk Food Day, Josh?
Man, I have to pick just one.
Well, you can pick a couple, because there's categories too, because you've got like kind of the salty category and you've got the sweet category. Junk food are basically both of those. Potato chips are junk food.
Yeah.
But like all the candy bars and stuff are junk food. I don't have as much use for the salty stuff, but as you know, I like me some sweets. So.
Yeah, same here. I guess that's why we're cousins, right? We got people say they have a sweet tooth. I think I have like 5 sweet teeth. So yeah, that's a tough one. I definitely go for chocolate. Can't go wrong with Scotcheroos, right?
Oh yeah,
that was a family favorite growing up. So I'm gonna stick with that one. First place, Scotcheroos.
That's a good pick. Shout out to our Aunt Lori, who makes a good Scotcheroo at our parties there. There's a lot of desserts at the family parties. But want to talk about some of the sports memorabilia stuff, because part of the reason that we have Josh here and want to have this conversation is there was kind of a big event. Want to talk more about sports memorabilia on the show in general, because that's my background. I wrote a book, for those that don't know, about sports memorabilia. There was a big event in sports memorabilia that seemed to kind of take the headlines for a while, which was a bust that happened that was prompted by Steiner and Fanatics. And basically there was a guy that was counterfeiting millions of dollars worth of memorabilia. I don't think they fully know yet how much, but he was counterfeiting different items. And unfortunately, that is something that has been rampant at times in the sports memorabilia industry. There's a lot of probably regulation that needs to be had, not necessarily government oversight or association oversight, but more so you want to make sure your items are authenticated and coming from good sources. And that's one of the reasons we have Josh here, because one of the things we partnered up with at Encore is we've got a robust sports memorabilia offering there, where we sell a bunch of different items. We've got the Focos, and that's kind of a combination between collectible and kind of the toy element of the Michigan Stadium. We have a bunch of different Michigan and Detroit oriented things that are from there. We also do consignments and consult on collections. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Josh is a local entrepreneur, and he comes from a little different. He comes from the logistics world, but now I've dragged him a little bit into the memorabilia world. So I'm curious about his thoughts on that as far as now dealing in memorabilia and kind of seeing it from a different perspective.
Yeah, definitely. It's been fun to add that branch of our business in and be able to offer the shipping and fulfillment for our consignment customers. Some of them are local, some of them are around Michigan, but mainly local. But it's been fun to get some of this auction pallets in and for professional sports all over the country and find people that stuff is valuable too, not just from a monetary perspective, but also just a collective perspective. For instance, we had a Milwaukee Brewers front office contact us because we had some Milwaukee paperwork that they were interested in framing and putting it in their clubhouse. So yeah, it's fun to find those places a new exciting home for them. So
yeah, that's a good point on the Milwaukee stuff, because that was basically a bunch of documentation. A lot of it was accounting documentation and hotel receipts and things from the 70s and 80s era, but there were some big names in there. Robin Yount was obviously a staple during that time. An older Hank Aaron was on some of that stuff. Bob Uecker, who unfortunately just passed away, he was on a lot of that stuff. So we had family members contact us.
Yeah.
There were family members of players that were looking for things that maybe they weren't big time players. They weren't ones that spent a lot of time in the big leagues, but this was stuff that they could find, unique things that had their family members' names on it and more information about them. So I thought that element of it was pretty cool too.
Yeah, definitely get that back to the family member and make them happy. So
yeah, definitely. And it was cool that they wanted to put it in the clubhouse, because I mean, you would think, well, don't you have a lot of that stuff on hand? But they that made it out of their system somehow and made it over to us, and we were able to spread that out, and that was good. But yeah, it's been fun to pull you into this, because you're not a huge like collector or you like sports, but you're not like, it's not your number one thing or anything like that. So it's been a good combination because we're seeing it through each other's perspectives. I'm a little bit more into it. We have our operations manager Clay, who's very into it. Happy birthday to him.
Yeah.
And now you kind of come from the other perspective, which helps, but it's cool to see it from your perspective, like those things. The other part of the business that deals on the sports side, sports memorabilia side, is we've actually worked with different organizations and athletes and gotten their items out there. And I think that's a new market that may be good to talk about, because you have a lot of people, whether it's NIL in college, and there's a lot of discussion of NIL and the impact, and now that's becoming basically sponsorship, and we could spend the whole rest of the segment talking about that, which we won't, but what that has enabled is it has enabled people to make money off of their name, image, and likeness, which is the goal of all that. And you have that at both the college and major league level, just like these people are doing their own content, their own podcasts. They're also doing their own items, their own memorabilia, items that may have something to do with them. And so I think that's an interesting opportunity for folks out there, opportunity for us, but opportunity to get things in the hands of people, because these it's not just the fanatics of the world making stuff anymore. It's the actual athletes having fairly large merchandise angles, like I know Hutchinson does, Will Johnson, he had the sunglasses. There's a bunch of local athletes that deal a lot in that, and that's kind of fun to see as well.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. And as a 3PL, a fulfillment center, we're able to ship those out of our warehouse in Grand Rapids and get those into the hands in a different state, or all over the world.
Yeah, and it's fun to see where all of this stuff goes too, because we've some of the items we've sold to professional athletes. I won't necessarily name them on the show, but we've had different We had a pair of cleats that was a certain colorway. It was a Vikings colorway, so we sold it to a Viking, and there was a lot of different things that we've reunited with people. So that part of it is fun because you've got a lot of memorabilia and out there in the marketplace and merchandise, but you've got a lot of people that are interested in that stuff, and it's less about the item, because in the end a card is just cardboard, a shirt is just a shirt with a different printing on it or whatever the item is, but it's a connection to the game, and it connects them to maybe their past, maybe their children. You have young children. You probably played a lot more with things with your young daughter and son than you probably plan to. More. I don't know if you're playing Barbies or what with Riley, but you're probably playing a lot more with that stuff, and it's a good connection. It changes your interpretation and your image of that item. It holds more value than to you because you have a connection to something less collectible based and more a fundamental relationship based connection.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I've been meaning to send in my high school football jersey to get authenticated, but I'm gonna keep that around for the kids. So.
That can be their college pensions, their college scholarships.
I'm sure
here.
It's worth way more than a college tuition.
The East Kentwood jersey here.
Yeah.
Isn't it wild that we interviewed Logan Brown from East Kentwood, and he was a young tyke compared to you here. We knew him through our family and everything, and now hopefully he's doing pretty well with the Vikings here. We're excited to watch his career. He was a good player when he was here. Him and Mozzie Smith and a bunch of the other. That was a good team.
Let alone just a great guy.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Yeah. Did you? So we've had Alex Jarmo on the show. Did you ran across the Jarmos when you were out at East Kentwood, right?
Yeah. They're Alex was a little younger than me, so I think he was in my sister's class. But yeah, great family as well. Mr. Jarmo. Sad to see him gone, but he was a great staple to East Kentwood Falcon athletics. So yeah.
Yeah, he was part of the basketball and football programs there, and part of the Michigan program back in the day. We're hoping to have Alex back on the show, but he's busy doing a lot of the stuff that his dad did when he was at the high school there. So, but yeah, we want to talk more about kind of the sports memorabilia and the connectivity of sports and business, and then more of the offerings at Encore, because there's more of that. But stick with us. You're listening to Sports Intel on Jethro FM.
Sports Intel with Ryan Walsh.